Labas. Yeah.
Oh, you've learned Lithuanian.
Ačiū and
Labas and ačiū.
and
So basically, we can just conduct this whole interview in Lithuanian then, I guess.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming here and for watching the video later maybe, and maybe tuning into the live stream if there is one, I'm not sure. Today here I am joined with this beautiful young man, Harry Hambley from Wales. How should I pronounce it?
That's perfect, yeah.
A very talented cartoonist, animator, just a super talented creative person. Is that the title that fits you?
Yeah, or just like Instagrammer, and it's a bit more derogatory.
Just like Instagrammer, that's enough for you?
I like creative person. That's
creative
better.
person,
Yeah.
Okay, not an Instagrammer. Don't call you an influencer, right?
Oh, no.
All right, so today's theme, I think, that was set for us is crafting careers as content creators. Now, I've seen this one headline about you. It says, you had a global business at 17, so I'm pretty sure I'm sure you're pretty competent in answering how to craft careers for content creators, answering all these nifty questions. Like, the best thing, how should I start this? If you are looking at Harry and thinking, like, who's this guy? I've never seen him. You've most likely seen his animations and his comic book, comic strips, like, what do you call them on Instagram? Comic strips, right? By the name of, can you please say how to pronounce it so that I wouldn't butcher it?
Yeah, Ketnipz.
Just Ketnipz.
Yeah.
Ketnipz.
Ketnipz.
Okay, so Ketnipz has 3.5 million followers on Instagram. And what does this name mean, and how did you come up with it? Because I personally, sorry to interject. Yeah, I have like sort of an internet online name, and it's usually the first question, like, how did you come up with this name? So like Ketnipz, what does this have to do with anything? Mm-hmm. At first, when you see Ketnipz, the first thing that pops up in your head is, of course, cats. You have no cats in your animations, so what's the problem there?
There's some cats. So I came up with the name in 2016, and it basically means, have you heard of catnip?
The material that makes cats go wild, crazy?
Yeah,
okay.
It's like cat drugs. So I wanted to get that name on Instagram because I thought it was funny, and then it was taken, so I changed some letters, and that's it. But it's funny because anytime I do a talk or something like this, that's the first question. It's like, what does it mean? I wish I was Cool Man. It's like a lot more obvious.
Like Cool Man Coffee, Dan.
Yeah.
A lot more obvious. Okay, so it's just catnip. Cool, I understand. But then, does it have any relation with the name? Like I mentioned it, cats, right? Your animation barely includes cats, so.
It does a little bit. I like the name because it means we can do whatever we want with the account and the business and things like this, because it's not associated with anything specifically. So it means, if we wanted to change and I don't know, come up with a completely new character, it wouldn't have to be in the context of the name. Okay,
that makes sense. Sort of understood. So Ketnipz is, of course, it's not a character, right? So you came up with this name when you were like, what, 16 then?
Yeah.
16, right? So how do you come up with, like, at 16, you already knew or understood that you were sort of building an online brand, or what? Because your main character and the main character for your comic, right, for your comic strips, for your animation, for your current animation, is Bean. Mm-hmm. But then the whole brand is Ketnipz.
Yeah.
So walk me through the, let's say, thought process, right? Like, because if I were to create a character, which you have one, right, a very prominent one, very well known one, like, I would just call the account, I don't know, The Bean or something. Like, yeah. I think that would be just logical.
Yeah, so when I started it, I didn't think it would go anywhere as big as it is now, which is crazy.
But you've automatically, like, you were set to create a brand and then a character later.
No, I was doodling. So if you go all the way back on the Instagram, it was like a doodle I drew in like the back of my handbook for school. And then I just, out of boredom, I just started posting them online, and the character was like just a face at the start, and it looked really creepy, and then it evolved and became like kind of a bit more cute, and then and then it just went from there. And so Yeah, and none of this is like, I wasn't 16 and like planning everything out.
I'm going to create the next Apple.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I think that's too tough.
So I have a quote of yours, I think. When I started, it was just doodles and a way of getting my stress out, as you just said, right? So when did you sort of gain like an ounce of prominence where you understood that, oh, this could actually result to something? I'm speaking not in terms of timeline maybe, but like not Wednesday 3 o'clock, but or when you were 17, but like during your whole process, like when did it hit you? Like this could be something bigger than just doodles on a notebook.
Yeah, it kind of took a while. I mean, that was the first year where it was just like, like every Instagram account just sits at like 500 followers for ages. And then we started collaborating. And if anyone who is an artist or wants to do like Instagram or anything like this, I would really recommend collaborating at the start because it's a great way to reach a new audience. And just get out there. But that was really...
That was my closing question. Good.
Yeah.
So note this.
Well, there we go. But I'm giving you the secrets. But so that was a big one because we did one collaboration with another illustrator and then we get like 1,000 followers from that. And it was crazy and we just kept going and it started to go from there. But you have to post like every day. It's nuts. We couldn't we're slower now. But at the start, it's a lot of work.
When you say you collaborated, did you sort of come up with the idea, like two people met, right? And you came up with the idea for the content itself? Or is there sort of like a multiversal comic book series where you can find, Bean, the character from Cool Man Coffee Dan or whatever, or just how does the collaboration work for, I don't know, comic book artists, for animators now?
Yeah, I like to mix the styles up a bit. So working with someone who does like something completely different to us is really important. So with Cool Man, his style is a lot more like sketchy. And then we worked with, I don't know if you guys know Lo-Fi Girl, who does like the YouTube stream, but we've never done one like that. And so working with them was really fun. But that's always important because if it was just like us working with someone who did the exact same content, it would be so boring. It would so yeah.
Talking about doing the same content over and over again, do you plan on maybe introducing more characters to your universe, or is Bean the main figure that's always going to be the main source of?
Absolutely not. No, it's just the Bean forever.
Really?
No, I'm making that up. We like to. It's so much you have to think about all these different characters and then the world and everything, and so we're building it very slowly. But I feel like making something on Instagram is so fun because you can, start one idea one day and just keep going with it. Or if it doesn't work, just maybe not even add that character back in. But yeah, no, it's so fun. And I like sort of engaging with people online too and having them be like, oh, you should show more of this character or write a little thing. And so
if you have like a side character in a short clip, people would ask for a bigger story, what's behind the character, right? Or to include it into future work.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's interesting. So Bean, right? It's like this sort of not shapeless, like a soft, how would you describe it? I'm not sure. The thing is...
Like a blob.
Like a blob, yeah, exactly. It's like a blob. Where do you... who inspired you? What inspired that specific design of that specific character? What were the inspirations? I think I found something in some interview that it was the Mumins, or what do you call them? Muminukai? Yeah. We have Muminukai in Lithuania, right? I think.
I don't know if you have in Lithuania, but yeah.
They're like Swedish or something, right?
Yeah, Danish, I think.
Or Danish, yeah, sorry.
Moomin Troll was really influential, the main character. Oh, Finnish, thank you.
They're Finnish. Oh, cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and also Adventure Time as well. So I don't know if anyone watches Adventure Time, but Lemon Grab, who's this yellow lemon.
Yeah.
With, crazy eyes. Yeah, so that was a big influence for sure. Yeah.
Oh, understood.
I'm not stealing. I feel like it's unique enough, but you can't make something in a vacuum for sure.
For sure. So this is again something I found in an interview. Ketnipz offers positivity, but not in a preachy way. So, not in a preachy way. So inspiring positivity and self-acceptance. Now, I have to go pretty far back to formulate the question, but like, this could just be my problem, right? This could just be me, but generally my whole feed for TikTok and Instagram, if it's jokes, if it's humor, it's sort of ironic, it's sort of, sarcastic, sort of like more darkish. And Bean is the complete opposite of that, as I understand. Did you ever wonder, or did you ever plan on, let's say, making like a different, like, what do you call it? Just make a secret different account
like
where you can...
Like a really emo Bean?
Not necessarily Bean, but like, for instance, like if you have like more edgier ideas, would you consider like maybe creating like a different character, not in the same universe, but like a different character, but because obviously you're very talented. You can draw, you can animate, right? So maybe... like the question doesn't make sense, right? Like,
no.
Because right now, right? It is a positivity brand.
Yeah.
So if we're talking business, right, it is a positivity brand. If let's say you like for instance, you like Rick and Morty, I assume, right?
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, I guess. So like for instance, there are some edgy jokes there, here and there, right? And if you would like to express your creativity through, edgier jokes, then you'd probably have to create a new character, go a different route. Bean can't just become like edgy and sarcastic and ironic one day. So what do you think of that?
I think it's a cool idea. I think that maybe one day I should just completely U-turn and get really sad, and that might be fun.
Well, not necessarily U-turn.
But it's like, I feel like it would be even better to come up with a new character that could be specific to maybe that theme. But it's, it's something to think about for sure. I mean, a sign of a good character is being able to do more than one emotion, so.
Let's get back to the, let's say, business or career side of the... Yeah, hi guys, you're here, I can see you, you're in the first row. So let's get back to the, let's say, business side of all things, right? Okay. Like this is a very, like, let's say, pretty simple question. It's a pretty usual one in our line of work. Like, what does if you're not going to comic book conventions or anything, like, what does your usual day look like? Because like, as I understand, like you said, you have to post every day, right? You have to be pretty active on social media. So how do you make and you are a creative person, your output is creative, and it's something that you have to generate constantly. So how do you do it? Like, do you have like do you have like a certain system, or do you just lie around in bed and on a couch on a beanbag and just come up with ideas?
No, it's really boring. So I'd sit at a desk and I draw all day.
And you make yourself just put something on the canvas.
I mean, it's like way better than a bunch of other jobs, and but yeah, it's a lot of, you have to show up every day and draw, and if it's not coming, then it's okay, but some days you draw really good stuff. But a lot of it's that, and we're starting to work with more people now on the animations and things like this, so I'm trying to learn how to run a team, and that's like, it's so much work.
Oh, you have a team now, right?
A little team. Well, there's like Matt over there, and there's like some other people. But it's it's a lot of fun. But some days it's like, oh, again.
Yeah, I have a quote from you. There's a misconception that it's really chill and you can dip into it whenever, like when you're working on animations, right? When you're working on comic strips. But when you're responsible for other people and you're working with others, you have to get into more of a routine. How do you get into a routine then?
I don't. I try. I think that's the better answer. But yeah, it's just being enthusiastic and just doing it every day. And the more you work at something, I find it's easier to start coming up with ideas. I've never been the type of person who can take a month off and then come back and just be like awesome. Like it's so hard to, for me it's just. So
you have to keep up the consistency, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I see. And how does, in general, like how does social media influence your work? Look, do you scroll a lot? Are you on your phone all the time like I do?
I put an app on my phone. It's called OneSec. I've been like promoting it so much, but what it does...
They should pay you, right?
They should pay me, but what it does is every time you open Instagram or TikTok, it closes the app as you're trying to open it and tells you how many times you've opened it today. Oh, okay. And it's made me realize
so it just gaslights you throughout the day, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I have to turn it off sometimes to like do my job. But yeah, it's scary how much time is spent on social media, and it's one of these things where I'm like, oh man, I wish I was just drawing in like comic strips or, you know, like a back of a newspaper, because at least people are reading like words instead of just scrolling.
Yeah. But you've also mentioned that you sort of have to, like in your line of work, you sort of have to be online. You sort of have to scroll through social media just to sort of catch some ideas or whatnot. And also you've mentioned, not sure if this is a quote or not, but oh no, it's a question. How did you gamify the process of using social media as a business? Because I definitely know that you used this word in one interview. You gamified the process of using social media. How's that? Like, what does that look like then?
I don't think it was like gamifying it, but I've kind of kidded myself into thinking that me using social media is like research, but
that's what I do. That's the same I tell myself.
It's a lie. It's not. It's just.
Oh yeah, sorry. The quote is, "Consuming content is an investment." That's your quote. Very loosely.
No, I probably said that when I was like, you know, way younger.
In 2020,
actually,
yeah.
I think a lot of people, like really good YouTubers and people like that, are people who don't necessarily watch a lot of what other people are doing on the platforms. So I'm trying to like not engage as much with other people just so I can try and come up with more unique stuff. But it's, it's really tough. It's really tough. I mean, it's like, it is very easy to be like, well, this is my work. I can spend 3 hours a day on it, but that's unhealthy.
Because I have a YouTube show, where it's like a news sort of format, and I just talk about what happened on social media in the last few weeks. So anytime I'm on social media, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing research right now. I'm doing my job. Talking about doing your job and about what that one app paying you. Eventually they'll pay you, no, don't worry about it. We come from a sort of a different line of content, right? Like I'm a YouTuber, you said you're an Instagrammer. You're an animator, you're a comic book artist. Like, I was just interested to know, me personally, sorry for the question in advance, but like, for us YouTubers, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? You know, you need to make a long video, it's watch time, it's ads, it's all that, and it's maybe, you know, if the video is long enough, you can add in some you can have partner integrations, like partnerships with different brands. Like, besides selling, I guess, merch, right? How does an animator on Instagram make money when, you know, your animations are, it's not a cartoon series, it's like very short strips, and then, you know, comic books, very short clips, and then like comic book strips. Like, well, how do you make money? Since we're talking about crafting a career, maybe that's not a...
No, it's true. So we'll do brand collaborations as well as like our own merchandise, like plushies and things, and that'll pay the bills. But then also, it's kind of like, how does SpongeBob or someone like this make money? It's from having a recognizable character. They don't make any more money off the episodes because that work is done. But what they do make money off is licensing and other projects like this.
Do you license Bean for some brands, really?
Yeah, we're starting to do that now, and it's a whole new world and more work, so that's fun. But it's definitely, there's lots of ways you can go about it, more than just doing like t-shirts, which is really interesting.
Do you have a t-shirt booth here?
No t-shirts today, sorry.
Really?
Well, I was worried it was going to be like, if someone wanted a certain size, it would be like, oh, I don't know, and then we'd take...
Oh, so then just scrap the whole idea.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to grab a t-shirt from you guys.
We got plushies.
Come on. Oh, okay, you have plushies. Fine, I'll bring one plushie to my dog at home.
Cool.
All right, during one interview in 2020, right, you... Like, the question that was given to you, I'm trying to remember it, but they were talking about different formats of content, and you sort of mentioned that you haven't yet, in 2020, so 3 years ago, you haven't yet found your most favorite format, let's say. So, like, sort of a big question for me would be, did you find it already? But also, when did you decide to make the switch, or when did you understand that it's time to make the switch from, let's say, cartoons to animation? And again, how are the two formats for you as a creative person, right? As a creator, compare the two formats? Yeah,
so I like doing like a bunch of different styles as much as possible, and I think it's refreshing too. Like when we did move to animation,
you just have one character.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. But the animation, when we switched to that from doing comics every day, was such a big switch, and it was really terrible animation at the start, and it's still not great, but we're getting there. But it's really important as a you know, like an online creator to switch up the style, switch up the type of content.
Is it
if you
really
do a lot of like the same thing over and over, people...
Sorry to interrupt you. Is it really healthy for animators to switch up styles? Like, let's say, don't you get like a backlash of, oh no, I love the previous style more? Because like for YouTubers, at least here in Lithuania, it's like, you know, you do commentary, you try some other format, and like, oh no, I don't want to see your vlogs, I want to see your commentary or something like that. No?
That happens, yeah. But you just have to be like, sorry, like there's still a lot of other work that we've made which can be watched, and we go back and we'll do comics and things again, but yeah, I think just if we did the same thing over and over and over, it would just like we would get bored and it would show in the work and everything.
Just come up with new characters, dude.
Oh, thank you. Would you like to write some though?
Definitely.
Okay.
I should start my animator career from collaborating, as you said.
There we go.
Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
All right. I was about the team. You said you had a small team. So animations, right? Drawing comic book strips, understandable, right? You doodled. Actually, it said here in my notes that you started by not just doodling, right? But you started by doing portraits of people. Is that right? Is that correct?
That's a whole other thing. So I started.
So this has no relation with your current line of work.
I mean, to some degree. So I started off in 2014.
Yeah, started by drawing portraits of people.
Yeah, I was like 14 years old. I barely had like an Instagram, and I would have people DM me pictures of themselves, and I would draw them and send them back like the picture. And sometimes they would like pay me like $10 or something, like no money because they were terrible. But that was the first time I started realizing, oh, Instagram can be a job. And then it, obviously I don't do portraits anymore. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, that would be really fun too. But yeah, no, so I did that for a little bit, and I ended up doing some merchandise for people, and then that turned into one thing, and it just, you never know where it's going to go, but I think that I've always had a lot of success anytime I change the format, whether it's portraits to stupid comics, to animation, to now we want to look at doing like YouTube or something like this. So every time we change it, it's always like a struggle, but in the end, it's better.
Did you learn to animate yourself, or did you get a team, or what was the process there?
I grew up watching like SpongeBob and all of these like animated shows every day.
You're from very different, what's the word I'm looking for? Generations. Because when I got the list of cartoons that you like, I'm like, what are the, like, except for Rick and Morty, I was like, what are these? I used to watch Courage the Cowardly Dog and Powerpuff Girls. I have no idea what these are.
I watched those too, but I was really big into Regular Show. Have you seen that?
Is this the one where the dude is holding a boom box above his head?
Yeah.
And Baby Come Back? Man. The one, right? So I just know the meme. I guess I know the characters from the memes, maybe, but... Yeah.
So Regular Show was like super impactful on me, and then some other ones too. And yeah, I think...
So sorry, I interrupted you. What was the process of going into animation? Like, did you just go on YouTube and like, how do I animate things? Or did you hire a team, or what was the process?
So going back, when I was 8 years old, I had the little DS, like a Nintendo DS. And it had a thing called Flip Note in it, which is like a little animation thing in like pixels. This is like ancient technology to the kids now, but like, so I learned to animate in that, and then I stopped for ages, and then picked it up again like 10 years later, and was like, oh, this is actually really fun, and then just kept going. But I didn't go to school for it or anything. I just sort of, like YouTube tutorials and things,
So what part of your daily work, or like what does your team do? Like what do you need the team for? other than, you know, hype men and people who can help you set up a table where you don't have t-shirts?
Someone just told me I need like 5 people around me. No, they do jobs. So Matt, he'll help with licensing, and then we'll have some other guys help with the audio for the animation, the coloring as well. And animation's a lot of work. Like if it was just me, it would take like a month per post. But because there's more people now, we're able to, you know, speed that up. But it's still like all my ideas and things, so I haven't gotten to that point yet where I've just completely, yeah. I don't think that will ever happen, by the way. I think, yeah.
Oh, just like, okay. Yeah. How did TikTok's prominence sort of impact your work? The question that lies in, the thing that I want to touch upon that lies in this question is basically that, you know, for the longest time, I'm a YouTuber, so for the longest time, like I said, like runtime and the length of the video, if it's a very long video, that's good for you, right? You can earn more money, you can, you know, people are on the site, you get promoted more. But nowadays, you know, there's TikTok where you have like everything's like 7 to 15 seconds, and you create animations that are pretty short, right? So like, did that impact your work at all? Like, for instance, like, let me just try to formulate this question. Going from, like, you drew your inspiration from cartoons. So sort of the normal, the basic, the basic path would be for you to aspire to maybe create a cartoon series. But nowadays, right, you have TikTok, people are just, you know, scrolling on, or TikTok or Instagram Reels, and you're just like, I don't need to do that. I just need a joke that lasts like 7 to 10 seconds and I'm good, I'm covered. Like, does that at all impact your work or not really? Or if you have like a lengthy idea, you will still work on it for animation?
Yeah, we're trying to do more of a mix of like longer form ideas and then short form. Like short form's really good for getting new people involved because it's very easy to watch and it's...
Yeah, the engagement's really good for short videos.
For sure, but it's also important to make like longer stuff too, and really like explore like storylines and things like this, which is super tough for me, but I'm learning and I really enjoy
writing. Why is it tough for you?
It's so much work. It's like to do a minute of animation is like 2 months sometimes, like amongst other stuff. So, and then if it's like a really rubbish idea, which sometimes it is, that's like 2 months gone. And then so making the 10-second ones is a bit more like, oh, okay, like whatever. And yeah, but it's, the goal is like SpongeBob, where you can have like a studio and do all of this, and it's like, you know.
Oh, it is your goal.
That's my goal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, then that's cool.
But it's a long way there. Yeah.
I mean, you have time. You're a young sprite guy. Because I was thinking like, if I were sort of if I was influenced to become let's say a comic book creator, not a comic book creator, like an animator, like the end goal would be to create like a series. But then you have TikTok and you're like, I don't need a series, I need a 15-second joke. So
it's true, but I think like if you look at like the legacy of a lot of these really cool characters and brands and things like this, is the ability to tell really nice stories. And as much as TikTok is so fun, it's also like so hard to tell something and get an emotion across or build something like a storyline. So yeah, for me, I'm like, I enjoy it and I think it's a great way to engage with people. But in terms of like going the next step, it's definitely thinking about, doing like proper animation. Whether that's on YouTube or not, I don't know. Like if we could just do it on YouTube, that would be awesome, and not have to deal with like just I don't know, all the like.
Then you can call yourself a YouTuber, not an Instagram, right?
Man, I'll come back next year. I'll be a YouTuber. We'll find out. Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out. Sorry to jump around in these. Yeah, I really wanted to ask you. There was this one phrase: words come before the visuals or the joke and the caption. So coupled that with the fact that, you constantly, like your work routine is to constantly doodle something, right? To just stay in shape and maybe come up with ideas on paper, right? Yeah. Let's say, but then was again from one of your interviews, the words come before the visuals. So again, is there ever a scenario where you come up with an idea or come up with a story that you've just mentioned and you're like, now I just need to go and draw it? Or do you usually, like, what's the process there?
It's like coming up with the comics will come up with a stupid rhyme. So, you know, like it doesn't make any sense, and then we'll draw something around that. And
first, you need a caption, sort of, like
yeah,
right?
like so with those is like the caption, and then but a lot of them just comes from doodling. So I'll just sit down and I'll have a whole page of just like stupid just drawings, and I might pick something out and be like, oh, that might work, and then I'll take it from there. Or sometimes now it's like I'll go on TikTok and I'll hear like a stupid sound.
Research.
Yeah, do research, and then I'm like, oh well, that'd be really funny as an animation, so I can like remix ideas and things like this. Like social media is so cool for that. But then, yeah, it comes from everywhere, which is. I wish it was like being an accountant where it was just so simple. Or not, I know it's like hard work, but it's like, you know what you're doing every day. Animation's like, oh, it's like...
Yeah, you don't have a stable framework, right, of an output. Understood. So you were saying that there's sometimes you can come up with an idea, start animating all that, and turns out to be pretty bad. You throw away a couple of months. So the super burning question that we have, of course, is the probably integration of AI and artificial intelligence into animating or animation. Maybe just the whole technical process of animating, maybe not drawing. Like, what is your... This is a pretty wide question, I understand, but like, how do you look at AI and the possibilities and maybe the challenges of AI as animators and as, you know, someone that actually comes up with ideas? Like when we were there, before coming on stage, we were talking about the fact that I just cannot comprehend that AI, if we're talking about generative AI, visually generative AI, like we said, it's a funny, like, sort of an oxymoron where it can do anything, but at the same, like, it is super powerful, but at the same time, without you guys, it's absolutely powerless because there's nothing to input there. So it's like sort of unnecessary even. What do you think? Like, because some animators already, like, I understand their work is, you know, questionable, let's say, to say the least, but some animators right now are already, you know, using AI, which gives them like sort of a leg up, right? Mm.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, there you go.
Well, I think, to be fair, there's some really cool AI work, but I do think that there's a big problem with it stealing other people's work. And for us, it's kind of, I don't think AI will ever come up with something brand new.
Technically, it can't. It could, because you need to input it with. Yeah, you need to feed it with something.
It could make the style, and it can make something kind of similar, but it would just not be able to tap into the stupid, like, idiot side of my brain, like, which kind of comes up with half the ideas. At least for now. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, we'll see. But AI, I also judge it off, like, I don't know. There's not that many like cool people who aren't just like, I don't know, like bros in the space. Like it kind of
it feels like they're just NFT dudes, right?
No, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like the parties might not be like super fun. Like I don't know, like it's kind of mean. I'll end up doing AI in like a year, but we'll see.
No, you'll be a YouTuber in a year.
Okay.
Oh, but using AI. Okay, cool.
Like Kwebbelkopf, yeah.
But did you? Yeah, like Kwebbelkopf, exactly. But did you at least, like, let's say, look into possibilities of sort of maybe automating certain processes that don't require like a creative input, or not really? Like, for instance, like I come up with like when I do a video, right? I come up with an idea, I shoot it, right? So when I edit it, the editing process is sort of not really. I have a huge script, right? I have all the raw footage. So the editing process for me it's sort of not really a creative work. It's just like steps I have to take to have the final project that was on paper and that I, recorded. So I'm thinking, like, let's say I'm thinking maybe there's a process where, AI can cut up certain, cut out certain phrases, add some things, like just fasten the process. Yeah, is there anything that could help you there maybe then?
Yeah, so there's like a software which I've seen it being used before, where if you draw something in a really low resolution, so it looks terrible, but it's a small file size, so it's easier to use, you can scale it up to like 4K using AI. And technically, that's not really like it coming up with ideas. That's
yeah, exactly.
For sure. So it's definitely interesting like that, and I'm sure there will be ways where we could probably use it like that. But I don't think I would never want it to be too involved in like the creative, because there's another side of it too, which is like, have you ever seen like a Studio Ghibli film or like Hayao Miyazaki's work? It's like Spirited Away and all of these animations, and they're all hand drawn. And I think a lot of the charm of it comes from the personal connection with the work, and just everything is looked at, everything is taken care of within the work, and it feels like there was a lot of heart and effort put in. And I think that's super important, because people can tell when something is like, oh, he just, you know.
That's just a prompt.
Yeah.
That was just a prompt in an app.
Yeah, but I don't know, Cocomelon's doing pretty good, so I might be wrong. Yeah.
Okay, last question I have for you is, you said in 2020 that you took up Muay Thai. How's it going for you? Are you still boxing, kicking?
No comment. 2020 was way cooler. Oh man.
Okay, so you quit, right?
I do other stuff now. Yeah.
Animation research.
I got kicked too many times for that.
I understand. That is that is something that you should. That is one body part that you should save. Right? All right, so my last question would have been, right, advice for upcoming animators and comic book artists. You already gave certain suggestions in the beginning. Is there anything you would like to close with, maybe? And also, we'll have a Q&A. We have a microphone right here. If any one of you would like to come up there and ask us questions, well, ask Harry questions, then please do so. You can just line up right there. And is there anything you would like to, I don't know, maybe add?
Oh man, I don't know. I think for
like imagine these are just a couple of 100 people that are just doodling right now. Like, what's their next step? What do they have to do to, I don't know, show up on someone's feed?
Yeah, I
collaborate.
Yeah, the biggest thing is to not be too precious with your work. So a lot of people get stuck, and I got stuck a lot at the start with just spending so much time thinking about everything.
Do you follow me? I feel like this is a personal attack.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sorry, but it's very easy to get lost in that, and then it's like a form of procrastination because you never post anything or you never.
This is getting too personal. I'm sorry.
But you have to accept, like, it's gonna be bad when you first start, and it's probably still gonna be bad 5 years later, but in different ways, and hopefully slightly better in some ways. But yeah, that's really it. I think that it's just super important to keep going, and if you enjoy it, then just do it for you. Don't think about anything else. Yeah.
I don't know whose quote is this, but like, would you agree that finished is better than perfect? Especially when you're an upcoming creator, and finished is better than perfect, right?
Yeah. If you never finish anything, it's nothing. So yeah.
Any questions?
Ooh. Okay.
Hi again.
Hey, man.
Hello again.
The bin with me, I was going for a, how do I say it, fangirl look, vibe.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, so I've got two questions. One of them is silly one. So why does your dog character has a mustache? Or if I'm seeing it wrong?
So Doggo has a mustache. I don't know why. Just from the start, it just felt like the natural fit. But there's probably a backstory which will come out very soon in the next month or so.
Sure.
And it will clear everything up, yeah.
Okay, and the second one, in one of your Instagram reels, I remember, I don't remember exactly if the Bean itself or Bean's friend had a voice, he talked, but like in bleep bloops. Like bleep, 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 bleep.
That's actually...
Yeah, but I wanted to ask, was it the voiceover edited in software, or was it just the completely computer-generated bleep bloops?
So that was actually... have you ever played Animal Crossing?
No, but I know it.
Okay, so that's the way they talk in Animal Crossing.
Oh, so you just took the voices from
Yes,
there?
I stole it.
Oh, right. Okay.
No, it's called Animalese, and you can use a software to make it. And Ollie, who helps with the audio, he was very good at that. So yeah,
cool.
It felt like the natural fit.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
I wanted to ask, a lot of famous people have a brand of food or drinks.
Like Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be open to making a brand of beans.
Oh, this is actually a very good business venture for you.
We're in discussions at the moment with Heinz, and it's between Heinz and Campbell, so we'll find out. But yeah, and I found out today that beans are called pupa?
Pupa, yes, pupa.
That's so weird. That's a bad name for beans, but I know it's kind of cool though. The next character will be called that, yeah. But yes, no, definitely beans soon, yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Hello, my name.
Hey.
When you did a collaboration with U2's merchandise, did they reach out to you or you reach out to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so they reached out to us, and yeah, they're really cool to work with. We get a lot of our collaborations and things come through. Like sometimes on Instagram, just they'll direct message, or we'll have someone help who manages like the brand and things like this. But yeah, no, U2s are really fun.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
I wanted to ask kind of a personal question, maybe.
Okay.
So the question is, have you ever gotten tired of your project, or were you going through a crisis of ideas?
Oh man, all day. Yeah. No, that's a very personal question. So I think that's another reason why it's good to change up the style and things like this. Like it helps be a bit more creative or just feel like a fresh idea. Yeah, sometimes it's very easy to get burnt out and you have to take breaks and things like this. But yeah, I don't know. It's like a constant struggle. Like come back in 5 years, I'll tell you if I'm doing any better.
Like, do you ever have a writer's block sort of thing?
Like a lot, yeah, yeah. But if you want to just get through that quickly, it's good to just draw without thinking. So if it's like sometimes it can be a bigger problem, but if it's just like getting the motivation to draw something new in a day, just draw a bunch and just don't care about it. Just see what happens, yeah.
Thank you. This really helped me because I'm going through, like, I want to draw.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to draw, and I don't know what I want to draw, but I really feel the energy.
Cool. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to power through, and or if not, just like I don't know, go take a walk, and it will work out. Yeah.
Thank you. I needed to hear this.
Cool.
Thank you very much for the questions. I guess that is all the time that we have, right? Or some more questions?
One question.
Oh, sorry. Please, yeah, please do.
Okay, so we have a question. If your character were a human, what personality he would have?
Just very sleepy.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's
Just very sleepy. Okay, so you can go for a nap right now. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And thanks, Harry.
Thank you.
For being here. I'm going to go grab a plushie now.
At you. Yeah. Cool.
There you go, Achu.
All right. Yeah. Okay.